here today to talk with us about Valentine's Day.
Yes,
And you're
it's
all
coming.
redded out to be here with us.
So tips for even the busiest of parents,
Absolutely.
which is definitely special needs parents and autism parents.
Yeah, I think those are the people that really need to celebrate the most, have the least ability to put it together,
do it.
or at least they feel that way. But I'm here to say, you can do it.
Okay.
So let's
Absolutely.
start.
School us.
Okay.
Yep. Hack number one.
Hack number one is get real. Okay. Communication is key. I think most fights happen when there's a lack of communication about what the expectations are about holidays, birthdays. Valentine's Day is no different. In fact, it can be actually worse. If you have it in your head that you're going to be, swept off your feet and taken in a horse-drawn carriage, and if you don't say something, that's not going to happen. And the other thing is, it may not be possible. They can't read your mind. They may be good at lots of things, but they're not psychic.
No.
And, I think that especially if you've got special needs kids, you have to be realistic. I mean, that may not be in the cards. And you may not have the money or the energy or the time or the babysitter or whatever you need. So it's good to have that conversation. We still have
can we drop
over
a
week.
little hint like, I love flowers and
Absolutely.
chocolates.
Yeah.
Or I don't want chocolate, I'm on a diet.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Why does it have to be little? I think, the men that I know love it when they get told this is what would make me happy.
Yeah.
My husband really likes it when I go to a store and actually put something on a wish list at the store. A lot of stores will do that for you.
Yeah.
And then you just casually put a little card with the address of the store and say, there might be something there if you're looking for something for me.
I do that too. I'll say to Reed, I really need this, and here's a couple of ideas, and he's pretty good about following through on that.
Oh, he's such a
Can I
sweetheart.
tell you what I've been doing the last couple of years?
What?
I take Jem shopping.
Oh, that's
Because we had this exercise a couple of years ago that Jem needed to learn how to remember something and how to keep a secret.
Okay.
So they asked me to do this, and we do this every year now. I take him shopping, and I say, you can tell Daddy to get me this, this, or this. And then it's a job for him to remember it.
Oh,
and then
that's
he goes
good.
back and tells Dad, and in the beginning, I had him take notes on it so that he could go back and have a likelihood of getting it right.
Right.
But it's it's like an
That's
exercise.
good. You
and it
can
works.
involve your child.
I think that's a good idea.
Manipulate them and call it therapy.
yeah.
Put those kids to work. Let them earn their keep.
That's right.
Yes. Well, my next tip is you can turn your own home into a love shack because you don't really have to go out. I mean, that's the other thing. This year Valentine's Day does fall on a Saturday, but a lot of times it's like in the middle of the week.
Right.
People have to go to work. People have to get up early to take kids to school. And it's just sometimes just too complicated or too difficult to get out the door. And, sometimes I'd really rather just be at home in my jammies with a glass of wine.
I think a lot of us feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you can absolutely make your own home into a very, romantic and special environment.
Tell us some simple ways to do that.
Okay. Candles.
Okay.
Okay. You can dim the lights. Put the kids to bed early. And if you can't get the kids to bed early, then, in Europe they start dinner at 10 o'clock. I mean, there's nothing wrong with just one night. Stay up a little late. We're tired anyways.
Right.
So,
right.
Let yourself stay up a little bit later.
Take a Red Bull at 5 o'clock.
Exactly. I do that. Not Red Bull because I'm a little worried about the chemicals
but
in that. But
maybe some tea.
I'll drink iced tea late in the day if I know that I have something that I need to stay up to do. And what really is more important than that connection with your partner? That's something that we absolutely need to nurture. And it deserves that a little boost, and I think that's fine. So once you do, whether you can get the kids to bed early or if you have to wait until they go to bed, then that's a good time to pull out the candles and the wine. Take a little shower, put some perfume on, put on a special dress. Just because you're not going out doesn't mean that you shouldn't dress up for your partner. And it lets them know that you are, you really value them and that you want to look beautiful for them.
Or get some special pajamas, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or special lingerie. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, put a fire in the fireplace, put some music on, and, you can do something wonderful like get dinner, order it, delivered in. You can transfer it. Now, use your good dishes. That's my other, thing is that people save their good china, or we're saving this for some. What are we saving everything for?
Right.
Use the good china. This is what more special occasion is there than your life and your partner and celebrating your love. That's something that should be good china worthy.
Definitely.
Get out your good plates. And, if you really, for some people now, I know that it can be sometimes really hard to even have an hour or an hour and a half.
Right.
If that's going to make the whole thing is you don't want to create stress. The whole idea is to do something romantic and nice and lovely that you're going to come away with feeling good about, not stressed over. So if it's going to be too difficult, and for some it might be, dessert. Just wine and dessert. It doesn't have to be a full-on dinner. I mean, it's whatever.
Good
it really, and there's no rules. I don't know who came up with rules that everything has to be extravagant. I mean, my kids are at the age now where they're going to proms and things, and the ask for proms has become like way better than proposals were. Like I'm what are these people going to do when they're adults and they go to ask someone to marry them if they've already done the flyover plane thing for asking someone to prom? I mean, and not everything has to be so elaborate. I mean, keep it simple. I always say keep it simple, sweetheart, and make it work for you. Whatever is going to work for you.
I like the idea of dessert,
right for you.
know, because that like wine and dessert. You don't have to make a big dinner and
even one, and I'm watching what I eat. I mean, one really special Godiva chocolate on a beautiful china plate and a glass of wine.
Presentation is everything.
With the fire and the music and the dimmed lights and the candles.
Personally, I'd rather have violets or daisies than roses. So
I will let Reed know that. I'm sure he already knows. But that's, I think create that romantic environment
that I can put out in the yard.
Yes,
later.
I like plants that are hard to kill. Those are my favorite kinds of
See,
plants.
and I don't want a plant. I'd rather have my husband vacuum.
That's great.
What I want.
Then tell him
that's
you want a
romance
coupon
to me.
book.
I hear you.
That's romance.
Yeah, that is one of the biggest turn-ons for women, I think, is a man who knows how to vacuum.
My husband folds laundry or
having
I'm
having him make the dinner. You know what I'd love for Valentine's Day is for you to make dinner.
Exactly, or trade back rubs or foot massages or I mean. There's a lot of different things that you can do, and I think it's going to be unique to each couple. I mean, that's why the communication part is so key, because if you're, that there's some book about love languages. If you're speaking, like if you're only doing for the other person what you perceive and feel is a loving gesture, but it may not be what they feel like is a loving gesture. Like if you don't like plants and your husband thinks the most romantic thing to do is to give somebody roses and you don't want roses, then it's not really a loving gesture.
Exactly.
You need to communicate.
Taking we're always talking about.
It is. Yeah.
It has to be what works for you.
Okay.
Or each other, I guess is what I should say. And on that note, it's really the thought that counts. I mean, honestly, when I think back, and my husband's given me some absolutely gorgeous, he's really been very generous and kind over the years and given me some beautiful things. But you know what I remember the most? If you ask me what was the most romantic thing, he serenaded me, and it's almost better because he can't sing. He can't sing. So bless his heart, he put himself out there, and he did this was so long ago when we actually had not two pennies to rub together. We were in college, and he came into my sorority meeting, and he brought along a friend who played guitar, and he serenaded me in front of my friends, and it was just like the most romantic thing. And when even over the entire course of our relationship, no piece of jewelry has ever outdone that nervous, shaking, quavery voiced off key.
I know.
Young Kevin with his heart on his sleeve trying to sing a song to me because he wanted to do something romantic. And I think that those kind of things are the things that are the most meaningful. I really do. So, I mean, you can do something. I put something together I want to show you. And I did put this together literally in less than 3 minutes.
Okay.
I went on my computer. I don't know if you can see this, but I went onto my computer. I had this frame already because I do think it's good to stock up on things like that. If you need it as a hostess gift or something, then you just have it. And this was one of the ones I've picked up, maybe $9 or something. The mat was already in it. And I just printed out even on regular printer paper, because if you don't have time to go get actual prints on photo paper, that's fine. It doesn't matter. You can always replace it with the real thing later. But I just printed a photo of us together. I printed it in black and white to make it look a little fancier. Pinky's out. And I printed out a poem that was on the program from our wedding. And I mean, it really took no time at all. Now, this little decorative thing here, I took a ceramics class and I made these flowers at ceramics. But you can do anything handmade. You can just make a bow out of glue.
With glue.
Glue. I'm serious. This is all stuff that I already had in my house. And you can't.
So pretty. That's going to look gorgeous in your house.
I mean, this is the kind of thing that this to me is a nice Valentine's gift because it's personal. It's personal, and I put it together. Even that it didn't take a lot of time and it didn't really take any talent. But it's still. I think that Kevin will appreciate the thought.
I'm stealing it. I'm hacking it.
Feel free. Okay. Another good tip is No baby talk. It's so hard when you have kids to put the talk of the kids aside.
You mean no kid talk?
No kid talk. I just am joking, baby talk.
Hi, baby.
Well, that's allowed. Depending again on your preferences and your communication, and if that's what you both want. And I'm all for it.
I love you.
I love you. No, but I'm talking about talk of the kids.
Especially when you're in our situations, which is, you've got kids in therapy, you've got kids in school situations,
so
and you're
easy to
fall into that. Yes, easy to fall
know.
into that because there is so much to discuss and so much that needs to be discussed. But for just this little sliver of carved out time,
a little hiatus.
Yeah, a little hiatus, because the celebration of you as a couple. I think the stronger your relationship as a couple.
No talking about.
Well, I mean, if you can keep it positive, I mean, if you can focus.
Even then, it's just
what's funny is a lot of couples, I think they get to the point where they don't even know where to start a conversation then. If they can't talk about the kids and they don't talk about work, and they, it's like, what do we have left to talk about?
Right.
Then you start making out, and that's the whole point of this, right?
Well, if it's been a while, that can be a little awkward too. But you can, you can't actually even. One little Valentine's gift idea could be making romantic conversation starter cards.
Good idea.
And you can just write out, my favorite thing about you is ... and then you can each take turns answering it. It really is eye-opening when you find out what, you even when you're with someone for years and years and years, you may not know that the nape of your neck is their absolute favorite part of your body. Or, you just don't, and it really it can lead to some really lovely memories to start things like that,
Or how about 10 things I love about you and share?
Yes.
That's great.
That's wonderful. I love that idea.
So you ask him to do it and you do it.
Exactly. Or even that could be, if you found a really pretty, journal or notepad or notebook or something, you could glue on a picture of you as a couple and then write that and then spend 15 minutes and then trade books and read out loud what the person said about me. That's just so nice.
It's wonderful.
Sometimes things,
very little.
Here's something that I find works for me. When Reed and I first met, when I think after our first kiss, he said something like, "I feel like I've been kissed by 10,000 butterflies."
Oh,
so
that's a good quote for a photo frame like that.
He became the butterfly man. So he would sign. I remember once getting a message at my hotel, "Love the butterfly man." He started giving me cards that would be "Love the butterfly man."
I love it.
And butterfly cards. So that was kind of,
it's a signature thing.
Our signature thing.
It is.
So those, and then when he gives me a card with butterflies on it and signs it the Butterfly Man, it reminds me of the innocence in the beginning.
It's an anchor.
Exactly.
It's an anchor that brings you back to that moment.
Before you get broken by life, and the thing is, we all have our challenges, and it's a testament to any relationship to stay together through the challenges of autism, and then all the other life challenges on top
and everything
of it.
Else. Yes.
So it reminds you of a simpler time and what first brought you together, and that you still have that.
You have that and then some. That's what's so wonderful. It's like that, and then everything that's come since that has made you stronger. And really helped you to see how much you can really count on this person.
Right.
And that has to get celebrated. So my last tip is, don't be ruled by the calendar. It doesn't have to always be February 14th.
Right.
I mean, why can't we make this type of date that we just talked about with our partner third Thursday of every month, or if you plan it out a little bit ahead of time, you can make it happen, especially the little 15-minute ideas, because in 15 minutes you can read to each other a chapter of a book. In 15 minutes you can do the foot massage, you can trade what I love about yous, you can there's so many things that reconnect you as a couple that actually can happen in a very short time frame. And I think that if you only had 15 minutes, fine, then some is better than none. That's true for exercise. That's true for chocolate. That's true for romance. It's true for everything.
It is.
So
some is better than none.
and don't I hope there's not really small children watching, but don't discount the quickie. I'm sorry, but it's really hard to reconnect physically, and I think that if you can even just 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, whatever you have, do it, because take advantage of those little tiny windows. they still count. And I think it's like exercise, it's cumulative. So a little bit here and there, the effect is the same. You're still going to have a closer, in fact, maybe even better, because it's the consistency of little small gestures is better than the once a year big grand gesture.
Absolutely.
Or, okay, now that it's Valentine's Day, now I'll get out the lingerie. No,
that kind of feels like it's the making up for the lack of it all year.
Exactly. I mean, it's almost like a consolation. I mean, love should be celebrated as often as possible and in as many ways as possible. And small is just as good as big. Grand is just, fine too. Dining in, dining out, whether it be, you don't have the money for a gift, so you're going to write from the heart a love letter. I mean, there's so many things. Don't throw Valentine's Day out the window and feel like, okay, well, this holiday is terrible and it just reminds me of all that we can't do. Yeah. Don't let that happen. No. Don't let life steal your wonderful moments.
Live in abundance and live from, be in the present, and don't take the past into it. Just decide to start anew with a fresh new start.
Absolutely. Susan, thank you so much for all your
great
tips. Great tips.
Yeah.
I've got ideas running through my head.
I know, me too.
Good.
I hope our viewers do too.
Absolutely. All right. And we want to remind everybody your book, The Fabulist, is available. You can get it on Amazon. Susan Campbell Cross.
And you can follow me on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'd love to chat with you. I'm at Susan Cross 1, the number 1.
Okay.
All right. Is there a Facebook as well?
Yes. If you look on Facebook, just search The Susan Campbell Cross.
Okay.
Because there's probably hundreds of me. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
I don't know why, but it's The Susan Campbell Cross, and you'll find me there.
Okay, great.